There is a simple and practical magic in turning to the people around you and asking for the things that you want. Now, when I was in college, this is the thing that I wanted more than anything in the world. This is a classic Volkswagen Beetle. This is before they made the new ones. And back then, when I was in school, the only way to get one of these was, to find someone who had one that wasn't in terrible shape. And there was a rumor they were still being manufactured in Mexico. None of those were things I had the means to achieve as a college student. So what I did was I started practicing a strategy called asking the question. There was a new thing called the World Wide Web, which I had access to as a student. And I hopped onto the web and searched around and eventually found a list of celebrity mailing addresses. This was before Google. I had to go to a site called WebCrawler to find it. So I took this list of celebrity addresses and I wrote letters to these people with way more money and way more means than I. Letters like, "Dear Judd Hirsch, I thought you were awesome in Taxi. I thought you were not so wonderful and without a trace. May I please have a Volkswagen Beetle? Thanks in advance, Steve Gadlin." So I wrote these letters and I sent them, 200 of them, not all to Judd Hirsch, but 200 letters. To 200 celebrities, I put 200 stamps on them, and I cast my question out into the universe. And then 2 weeks later, I had 200 Volkswagen Beetles. Thank you for your time. No, that's not true. I'll get to how that ended in a little bit. We're going to jump into the future. About 5 years ago, I had an idea, and I wanted to execute it. And it brought this little second piece of the formula to mind, which is make the thing, right? So I'm sure while you've been here, there have been a lot of people telling you to think outside the box. That's something we're all so tired of hearing, and it's something we couldn't not do if we tried. Our brains think outside the box. That's what we do. But the real challenge we have is in removing all of those filters that take us from conception of an idea to execution of an idea. So here was my idea. I wanted to start a company where I sold stick figure cat drawings to people for $10 a piece, okay? Just so we're all on the same page, this is what I mean by a stick figure cat drawing. There's a cat on a unicorn shouting whoopee, and a cat fighting a seahorse. So rudimentary stick figure cat drawings. Everyone around me at the time said, "No, don't do this. This is a terrible idea. This is not what a company is." But I removed those filters, and I started a company. I had a friend sketch a logo for me, and I started, "I want to draw a cat for you." Awesome. Thank you. So by start a company, I mean I had this logo, I had a website, it had a big old button on it that said "Buy Now," and I created a video to introduce to the world exactly what it is I wanted to do. This is a minute long. I'm going to show you like 15 seconds of it, and you'll get the idea.
I'm pretty good looking, I'm an average guy. I work in computers, that's no lie. But that's not what I want to do. I want to draw a cat for you. I want to draw a cat for you. I want to draw a cat for you. I want to draw a cat for you.
So, thank you. Thank you. That's not what my parents said when I put it on there. So the company was, "I want to draw a cat for you," and I put this out into the world, and I asked the question, right? I made the thing. I asked the question. I said, "Hey, will you pay me $10 to draw you a stick figure cat poorly?" And people did not say no. I sold about 100 of these drawings, not enough to be a wild success, but that minor success gave me the audacity to ask the question again. There was a company called Groupon. Again, this is back in the day where if you ran a Groupon, it was huge for business. This is back in the day where no account exec would ever, in their right mind, approve a Groupon for a company that manufactures stick figure cat drawings. But I asked the question. I sent the email, again now in pursuit of an awesome rejection letter. And really, if you look at the cool things you do in your life, I think you'll find that the greatest things have been in pursuit of the coolest rejection letters. I didn't get a rejection letter. We ran a Groupon in Santa Rosa, California. This little side deal went to the front page of Reddit. It was all over the news, and we sold out 1,000 of these in a few days. Thank you. Again, not at all the reaction that my parents had. So This was a big time for Groupon. Their CEO, Andy Mason, had just turned down Google's offer of $6 billion to buy his company. So the headlines would say things like, Andrew Mason turns down Google and partners with stick figure cat drawing company. Which, again, only gave me the nerve to ask the question again. There's a television show, it's still on now, it's called Shark Tank. And if you're not familiar with the show, this is a show where people with legitimate business ideas and legitimate businesses and companies march down a hallway with video of sharks playing on the side, and they ask a panel of millionaires and billionaires to invest in their company. I wrote them a 2-sentence email. I said, I draw stick figure cats for $9.95 a pop, let me at them. And surely this was the rejection letter that everyone told me I was going to get. This was going to be a rejection letter to hang on my wall. And then this happened. So here I am marching down the tank. And I'll say, yes, finally, that is the reaction my parents had at the time. So there I was on Shark Tank, and now I had another opportunity to ask the question, this time in front of some life-changing individuals who could really take this company and give it way more attention than it deserves. So I made my pitch to them in a way that had been successful for me in the past.
Sharks, my name is Steve. I got an offer that you won't believe. For the low, low price of just 10 grand, you get a quarter of my company, understand?
Gotten a lot of mileage out of that shoulder move. So there I was, and now finally, of course, as we all predict, the arc of this story finally brings me to the great rejection letter that I would finally get from these very serious investors on Shark Tank, except...
Turn around.
That is ugly.
No, it's not. It's good.
So if you don't know, that's me and Dallas Mavericks bazillionaire Mark Cuban toasting over our new business relationship, where he is now part owner of a stick figure cat drawing company. Thank you. And truly, where did this come from? This was just born of the nerve to ask the question. It was to make the thing to ask the question, to seek out that rejection letter, to take that idea that's in the back of your head, ignore the very rational voices that are telling you to have nothing to do with it, and to forge forward anyway, because look at the crazy things that can happen to you. Now, I'll say there's a caveat. I'm not saying seek out that rejection letter. I'm not saying that you will never get the rejection letter, right? Obviously, I should have gotten the rejection letter about 7 times in this story. But sometimes when you seek out that rejection letter, the thing you get is way cooler than the thing you were after in the first place. I'll go back to years ago. I wrote 200 letters to 200 celebrities asking for a Volkswagen Beetle. No celebrity sent me a Volkswagen Beetle. I did get a postcard from Leslie Nielsen and from Dom DeLuise. I got an 8x10 glossy of Jean-Claude Van Damme. But what I take, what I have framed, and I think is the crowning prize from this, is I got a return to sender from Yanni, who he moved. And they didn't the internet was different back then. Things were not updated in real time, so it was an old list. So after all this happened, after I got my Beetle rejection booty, Volkswagen did something cool. And in 1998, they released this, which was the new Beetle. And once again, suddenly all my attention was turned to this awesome thing that was totally outside my means. And here's where I learned the greatest lesson of all that I hope you guys can take with you today. It's not how you ask the question. Sometimes it's not even what the question is. It's who you ask. In this case, what brought me and the Beetle together finally were my parents. So. Thank you very much.